Welcome to the I-80 Club before the witching hour. Just a few minutes late. Many comments in the Discord server as we tried to figure out where our friend and my co-host Matt McMaster was. Many people, Matt, were posting GIFs of McDonald's. Jabs writes more like running late to the witching hour. Sam said you were asleep. You are here. We are ready to talk some NFL. How are you doing?
Can you hear me?
I can
Okay.
hear you.
Whoa. Well,
I don't know what you're talking into right now, though. I don't know if it's your mic or if it's your computer or if it's your other mic. What are you talking into? Uh-oh, now I can't hear you. Oh, good Lord. This is off to the worst start imaginable. Matt, what the hell are you doing?
What do you mean you can't hear me? What do you mean?
Okay, now I got you. Yeah, now I got you.
Does it sound crappy?
I mean, it sounds like, yeah, it sounds like it always does with you. What's going on? How are you feeling on this morning after what was probably a pretty crazy day for you?
I spilled coffee on myself this morning.
every show together.
And then look, I just spilled coffee.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Is that all over your phone too?
Yeah, it's all over everywhere.
Oh, good Lord.
Let me move it.
I
don't even have like napkins or anything.
Yeah.
Sorry, 1 second. Also, we're not drinking a beer during the show. I have a liquid IV that I have to.
Yeah, I figure. Probably no beer for you today after what unfolded yesterday for you and the fellas.
No. God,
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You know,
Probably.
There wasn't a cart girl at Iron Horse, so we had to like call them.
Oh, now you're muted. Stop touching things. Stop touching things. Why don't you, Matt, just use the headset. Just use your goofy little headset again. Now you're muted. Oh, my gosh. All right, now you're back. Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything.
Wait. What do you want me to do, okay?
I don't know.
Do you want me to use my goofy little headset, or do you want me to use this $120 microphone that sounds like it's always underwater?
It does sound like it's right now. I hear more of the room you are in than I hear of you. I can hear the air conditioning.
I know. Should I just unplug it? I can just.
I don't know, Matt. I don't know. Where are you going? Wow. Welcome in. If this is your first time, the show isn't this terrible. I swear. Normally the show is better. Brendan asks, "Is that an NFL beer koozie on the mic?" It is. We need to do what we can to get Matt a windscreen, a muff, whatever you want to call it, because now this is, I don't know, we've been doing pods together now since June, and every time there is some sort of an issue, even though, Matt, this is the largest audience we've ever had for one of these shows. Don't touch it.
I'm not touching anything.
You just moved it. I just saw you move it.
Well, okay, stop it. I don't know. This thing looks really industrial, and I'm afraid like if I unplug it, this whole place, like the internet is going to shut down or something.
Yeah. Well, don't do that. We have NFL games to preview. Welcome in. This is what are you going to do? I don't know what you're going to do. Baymon says, can we start a collection to get Matt enough money to finish his broadcasting degree? I'll say this. Hit us with a super chat, and maybe we can send some of that money to Matt and so he can buy a better cord or a better microphone, or at the very least.
What do you mean a better microphone? You recommended this microphone. No,
I didn't. I didn't know you when you bought that microphone. You had that before. Microphone. Yeah, I did, but look at the one I have now. It's much better, and I can touch it, and it still talks.
You're 22 years older than me, and you've been able to save more money.
Yeah, well, I do what I can.
Also that, and you don't spend your money stupidly like I do.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that I'm the best of spending money. My wife points out, just for this, the Bears game is getting booted off the island. For the show today, talk about the Titans instead. Yeah, if this is your first time, before the witching hour, Josh Peterson, Matt McMaster, we come to you on Sunday mornings and we get ready for the NFL slate. And we do it in a little different way than everybody else does. We don't talk about every game. We talk about 5 games. We talk about the games that involve our team. So last week, that meant we talked about 4 non-Cowboys Bears games because our teams played. Today, that means, Matt, we're only going to do 3, which if we keep this bit up all year as the Cowboys and Bears go into past mediocrity, into the basement of the league, it's going to be pretty fun to see like how mad people get that we're not maybe talking about the best games. But Matt chooses the 5 games we're going to talk about. We dive into them. And then we, that said, we do in passing always mention just a couple other games that maybe we don't have on our list. And one of them, Matt, might be the game that's actually on our televisions right now. At least it's on mine. You're in some random place at your apartment. Steelers kind of whooping up on the Vikings to this point in time. Up very comfortably. Mike Schaefer tried to talk me into picking. I'm so happy I didn't follow through on my pick 'em. I debated, maybe I should pick the Vikings because Schaefer is. And they're about to get down 17-3 before the end of the half. And they look like absolute trash at this point in time.
Well, the numbers indicated that the worst quarterback under pressure this season, and not even by like a close margin, by a very wide margin, is Aaron Rodgers. And it was always incredible to me that he ended up picking the Pittsburgh Steelers because his biggest problem as the quarterback of the Jets was that he was always under pressure and the offensive line was terrible. And yet he decided to go to a team that also had a terrible offensive line and had it's also incredible to me that the pillars of the Steelers, which used to be really good quarterback play and really good offensive line play, that they literally prepared for none of the turnover. They didn't have anybody ready for Big Ben when he was done playing. They didn't have anybody ready for anyone on that offensive line who had been there forever when they are all retired. So now he's on this crappy offensive line Pittsburgh Steelers team, and I, like Mike Schaefer, definitely thought that a Vikings team that pressures the quarterback pretty much better than most teams in blitzes have done would give Aaron Rodgers a ton of trouble in Ireland. And it turns out that it doesn't matter what backup running back you give the ball to in Minnesota, whether it be Jordan Mason or Alexander Madison, they end up fumbling the football all over the field. And Jalen Ramsey, for whatever reason, has decided to be Jalen Ramsey of like yesteryear, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So good for.
By the way, they did just block a field goal, so it's not 17-3 right now.
When is this game on?
It's on NFL Network.
Is this crappy?
Yeah, I'm guessing you probably don't have NFL Network. By the way, Jabs just dropped us a super chat. We appreciate it, Jabs. He says super chat so you guys talk about the Broncos. That is not, Matt, one of the games that we had on our list of 5, so we can get to it real quick before we actually get to the list of 5. And this is a game that's coming up tomorrow. We decided that we weren't going to preview either of the Monday games, the Jets, Dolphins, or the Bengals, Broncos. I like the Broncos in this spot. I don't know if that makes me an idiot in the game tomorrow, but I think that they get off the mat. I have to imagine, dude, that they are looking right now at how they have performed throughout the first 3 weeks, and they are so perplexed as to why they are at the very least not 2-1, if not 3-0. I mean, the loss against the Colts, absolutely terrible.
Inexcusable.
And then last week, I mean, I don't know. I still am flummoxed by how Justin Herbert was able to make that throw, the touchdown that tied the game late, and then the Chargers get it back and they get a field goal in regulation to walk them off. The Broncos, they are kind of who I thought they were, for better and for worse through this point, though I guess maybe the defense not as good as I expected it to look through the first 3 weeks.
So they have a positive point differential, yet they are 1-2 on the season.
Yeah,
which
for
is
sure.
Incredible to me. I hate Will Lutz because he missed that field goal against the Indianapolis Colts, and I would be $45 richer if he made it, because that
you could have a windscreen for your microphone.
Okay, I can. You know what? What I'm gonna do? I gotta move this air conditioning unit at some.
No,
point.
it's not that. No. The windscreen is about the popping of the peas and the beets.
But it's not popping as much. I don't hear the popping.
I mean, it still's there just a little bit. Just a little bit.
You. This whole, you are such a nerd to the point where I know this annoys you so much, where it's like you're only going to be focused on my peas.
For the record, it wasn't me. It's the great subscribers we have at patreon.com/i80club that were pointing it out yesterday. So
maybe I should go on less bachelor parties and more investment on my stuff. Look, I do think.
By the way, my wife did say Matt is a boomer today. What is this game even on? Yeah, you do have a bit of boomer technological issues so far to start the pod.
Yes, I do. Also, too, everybody knows I have a very old soul. That there are a lot of old people that I love and young people I can't stand. I actually can't stand a lot of young people. My generation sucks. For anyone who says that,
from your lips to God's ears,
dude,
could not agree
more.
more.
Brutal, dude. I think the best bit on the Connor Apper show is like, what did Gen Z create this go around? And
it's so funny.
We are so stupid. And then Nick Grid
micro retirements. Wow, what will your generation think of next with these micro retirements? We're
a bunch of dumbasses. I don't know what to tell you. But there's a small conglomerate of us that I think we have our heads on straight. I've never liked the whole Bo Nix conversation. because it has been so dependent on his head coach. Like, it's almost as if we love Bo Nix so much because his head coach is smart and limits him. Like, that's the thing I've never been able to get past when we talk about Bo Nix. It's always like, well, he isn't asked to do a whole lot, and it's because he can't do a whole lot. So it's just like, you get what I'm saying here? He's like, you're hamstringing him right away.
Yeah, this is not a college football podcast, but I'm ruminating right now, Matt, on a take that the Oregon Ducks are on a similar timeline to what they were like a little over a decade ago when they went from Jeremiah Masoli to Darren Thomas to then Marcus Mariota, how it was just like upgrade. And so now it went from Bo Nix to Dylan Gabriel, and now to Dante Moore. And it's like, are they on a very similar, maybe 1 and 2, you could invert them a little bit, but it's like experienced guys who are a little bit more limited physically. And now you have Dante Moore, and he goes on the road, get in his first like massive start like this, and he way outperforms the guy who has a lot of starts under his belt. And so anyway,
Drew Aller. Jeez, we don't have to make this college football podcast, but damn.
Yikes.
No, I just,
not great.
I think that Denver is a good team, and I think that Denver will make the playoffs. But I think much like how I felt about the Pittsburgh Steelers through 4 games last year, I'm like, I know that they won't be a threat in terms of, or at least right now, I don't think they'll win a Super Bowl or make the AFC Championship game or anything like that. The Bengals are in trouble. Trouble. I mean,
that performance last week against the Vikings, not great.
And I don't know, like Jake Browning, he did go 4-3 last year in his 7 starts as the backup. But if they get anything close to, I mean, they won't win a game if he plays like he did against Minnesota week in and week out. So there you go.
That's
great. Us being nice and talking about the Broncos.
There you go. All right, so the 5 games that we are going to hit on today. We got Eagles-Bucks coming up at noon. We have Colts-Rams. That's a 3:05 game. We have Ravens-Chiefs. That's the main late afternoon game, 3:25. And then we mentioned it, our teams, the Bears, Raiders, and the Cowboys and Packers, and Matt's leaving again. So it's just going to be me for a couple of seconds. When Matt returns, I think that we should start with the games that are involving our teams because I'll be honest, those are not the games that I'm interested in watching the Cowboys today, but not for good reasons. And I certainly am not excited to watch any of the Bears-Raiders game. And I imagine Matt is probably feeling a little similar to me as the Vikings are driving down and now trying to score a touchdown. Matt, I was just saying, let's start with our games. Let's build up to Chiefs. I want to finish with Chiefs-Ravens, and so this is in a way we can kind of get ours out of the way. You want to start with yours, or you want to go with Cowboys-Packers first? All right.
Oftentimes when we talk about good football games, we talk about it from a good-on-good standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Hey, this great quarterback versus this great secondary, this great D-line versus this great offensive line. But unfortunately, we are talking about 2 bad teams who play football. So this is actually going to be a worst-on-worst conversation, okay? Because it really is just going to boil down to, can a very, I don't want to say very bad, but like, can a pretty damn bad Bears defensive line win against a bad Raiders offensive line? So I don't know what it was after their game last week, but heading into last week, the Raiders had the number 1 most rushing attempts that ended in 0 or negative yards. 38% of their rushing attempts.
Yikes.
Ended in 0 or negative yards. And I can't imagine after their game last week that it got that much better. The Vegas run block grade for PFF is 22nd in the league. The Bears rush defense grade is 24th in the league. It's funny, Josh. As long as I've been alive, the Bears have always had really good interior defensive linemen. Whether it be Anthony Adams, Akeem Hicks, Eddie Goldman was pretty good. Andrew Billings is bad this year, but he was good for 2 years in a row. Like even back to like early 2000s, like Tommy Harris. Do you remember that name?
Tommy Harris, Oklahoma guy.
Tommy Harris was a dog, like 3-time.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Like as long as I've been living and breathing, they have been never great. Like never having a Reggie White or an Ndamukong Suh or a Chris Jones, but like always having really solid guys in the interior. This has got to be the worst interior defensive line of my lifetime. I mean, it's an old Grady Jarrett who isn't even playing. They have failed in terms of drafting Elijah Pickens, and they got this rookie who got hurt. His name's Shamar Turner. He might play today. Like, they just have not been able to, for whatever reason, Ryan Poles loves drafting tight ends and skill position players with his first 3 picks in every single draft, but refuses to invest heavily in the D-line. So we'll see. I could see a world where the Bears look dominant and the Raiders are forced to throw the football against a pretty battered secondary, but then Caleb is able to play really well. I think Caleb will have a really good game. I could also see a world where Ashton Genty just runs all over the place. And ends up being
even with how bad the Raiders' offensive line has been.
Yeah.
Sam writes,
because
and
that's
Sam
how
is our
bad the Bears' D-line is. The Bears' D-line is awful.
Yeah, Sam is our resident Raiders fan. He says, I like McMaster even entertaining a Raiders win. It's wild to me as a Raiders fan. This is the worst offensive line they have assembled. And then he adds, will Geno have time?
Yes, Geno will have time. The Bears, Geno will have plenty of time. You do not have to worry about that. Montez Sweat is fine, but Montez Sweat very much did a Jordan Love where he played 8 very good games and then got paid way too much money for how he was or for how he played during that time. So, no, I think Geno's going to have plenty of time. It's really just going to boil down to if the Bears make too many stupid mistakes, they will end up losing. And once again, in my life, they always seem to do. So,
except last week.
I'm very much on the – well, your team sucks. I'm
Terrible.
very much on the
Tried to
negative Bears wagon right now because that's how I've been born and bred. If they end up winning this game and they end up like looking pretty good doing it, I'm going to convince myself that they should be 3-1.
They should have won with the week 1 game against Minnesota.
For sure.
Nice.
And then they should be 3-1.
And then so next week you'll be like, hey, maybe it's time. Maybe the Bears are back this year.
But then like here's the thing though, next week is a bye week. Okay.
So then you're feeling really good for 2 weeks.
Exactly. That is
so you're either going to be in an awesome mood for 2 weeks or you're going to be in a terrible NFL mood.
And they
for 2
end up
weeks.
playing the Commanders, who may not have Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, what's going on with them right now? Yeah.
So then you're kind of like, all right, BJ, extra week to prepare, 2-2, should be 3-1. Facing a battered Commanders team. Then you get
Caleb Williams knows how to watch film now.
There you
like,
go.
Yeah,
then you get the Saints after the Commanders, and now you're kind of looking forward to down
go.
the barrel. And you're like, all right.
Revenge for the Hail Mary last year. Wow, look at you.
Then you got it. Then you play the Ravens. You'll lose that game. But then you play the Bengals after Jake Browning.
Oh,
so
wow.
Dude,
look at this. You're like a 6-2 team, 6-3 team by the time it's November.
We're 5-3, but we should be 6-2 is what I'm telling myself. So this is me telling you that right now I'm very level-headed and negative on my team, but if they end up winning this game, I might end up being insufferable.
Awesome. Speaking of insufferable, I don't think that I would be insufferable no, you know what? I would be. I would just spend so much time making fun of the Packers, even though the Cowboys are not going anywhere. That said, Matt, I am not entertaining in the least that Dallas is going to make this game interesting tonight. And that is in part, or in large part, because CeeDee Lamb is hurt. And the offensive line is in shambles. One of my best friends is a Packers fan. And he thought that I was trying to reverse jinx this game on the radio on like Thursday or Friday. I don't remember when it was. And he's like, oh, you stop it. I know what you're doing. I'm like, you don't know what you're doing. Matt, sometimes I am worried that people don't like watch the Cowboys and they just kind of follow them through all of the talking head shows. And they're like, they're not this, they're not that. They are.
Josh,
what?
That's exactly what people do.
That's what they're doing.
It's exactly what it is.
I was trying to tell John going into the Bears game. I'm like, I don't think you realize how terrible the defense is. And I think the best example of this entire situation is that 2 weeks ago, Russell Wilson had his best day ever as a Giant, and now he is not the starter anymore. That is how bad the defense is. You saw it last week. Matt, have you ever seen Bears receivers as open as they were against the Cowboys? It reminded me of the playoff game a couple of Januaries ago where the camera pans and it's like, oh, hey, look, a Green Bay Packer is wide open and there is just green around him of the grass. It was that way. They had the worst flea flicker ever, and it still was the easiest touchdown ever.
Hey, it wasn't the worst flea flipped.
It looked dumb. They got it. He throws it back to him. It looked like any team worth their salt would have blown that play up. But the Dallas Cowboys defense is atrocious. And so, like, I don't see how this game is at all interesting tonight. And that's not even mentioning Micah Parsons and how he is going to have a good game, because the Cowboys offensive line is in absolute shambles. Their starting center is out. They have other injuries on the offensive line. Their rookie guard, Tyler Booker, he isn't going to play.
Oh, he's not playing?
And they don't have, they're going to be out for weeks, and they don't have CeeDee Lamb. Again, I just don't know. Yeah, I just don't know how this game is interesting at all. George Pickens is a number 2. He is like the epitome, Matt, of an awesome number 2. But you do not want George Pickens to be your number 1. His route running, I think, is fairly lazy. I don't think he fights through the ball very much. His hands aren't.
Menu. He's got a small menu of routes.
100%. Yeah, the routes that he can run well, he does a great job. And when he has CeeDee Lamb on the other side, it's absolutely awesome. But he doesn't have CeeDee Lamb today.
No.
Ferguson catching passes for 4 yards a catch. Like, what are we doing here, man? It's going to be bad. I'm not excited for tonight. At least I get to watch the game with my dad.
He can only run big number routes, if you know what I mean. He can only really run the flags and the posts, and the streaks.
Yep.
And
100%.
Maybe the 15-yard in. So I got really mad at my roommate because I was freaking out about how good Caleb looked, and he was like, "Well, he's throwing against air." And I'm like, but you don't get it. This doesn't happen. Like, this has never occurred in my lifetime, that it just, I have a good enough coach where they can scheme guys open. Like, Bill Lazor was never able to do that. Shane Waldron never did that. Adam Gase never did that. I mean, none of these. I mean, even Matt Nagy. Very rare, like maybe the first 8 weeks of 2018, and then after that, it was all like Allen Robinson contested catches. So your defense is bad.
Yeah. It's
bad.
terrible.
It's bad. And yet, when Micah Parsons was out there, I think this was a Bill Barnwell stat. Shout out Billy B. That they had the number 1 EPA in all of the NFL.
And then what happens when he's not on the field?
They're the worst. The worst in the NFL. I got a great question for you. This might derail the podcast.
Okay.
They're not honoring him. They're not going to do a tribute. They're not going to do a Jumbotron thing. They're not going to do any of that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I understand why they're not doing it, because they just get booed to hell, because like he didn't die. He didn't leave on his own accord. They made the situation bad, and they decided to trade him. Like, this is all. It's like the blame pie for this is mostly Cowboys. Like, there's an argument to be made that there's like Micah, it does have some culpability, because it does seem like the reports of him going and having the conversation and like them debating back and forth. It does seem like there is some realness to that, in terms of him like agreeing to deals. On the other hand, though, Matt, like the Dallas Cowboys, like, you are an owner, Jerry. Like, this is you shouldn't be doing this, first of all. And
no.
Stop freaking out and just talk to his agent. But it's so frustrating.
I love you, and I love talking to you about the Cowboys, because I think you manage the in between of being a diehard, lovable fan and also having your head on straight. Let me correct you here, though. Some culpability is
like 5%, like 5% culpability. 5% culpability.
Way higher.
Really?
He had 2 years left on his deal. He had 2 more contracted years.
Yeah,
to
but
the Cowboys.
You know how it is, man. He was awesome.
But no. I know, but he still had 2 more contracted years. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Normal franchises would sign their player and move.
I'm aware.
Normal franchises.
And I'm aware of the fact that Jerry. I'm not saying that it's all Micah's fault. Okay, I'm not saying that. I would say that's 80% Jerry's fault and 20% Micah's fault. 20%. But Micah definitely is a prima donna. He definitely has shown that.
100%.
Literally last year, they did a little. I don't know if it was Ronaldo or whoever, but like they did a little feature on him when the Cowboys were terrible and they were on prime time, and he was like, "Yeah, we suck. It's really hard for me to play." And it wasn't a rah shish kumbah, like, we're still a team and I still love this team. It was very much like, I still have to get mine. And so I don't know. I don't like. I'm not a big fan of his personality off the field. On the field, he's incredible, but I don't like.
And Oh, sorry. Keep going.
No, I don't like how he acts off the field, and then like he had 2 more years left on his contract, and then he tried to play like the martyr, which he deserved in some right because there's no way that he shouldn't have just been paid $42 million for the next 4 years. From the Cowboys.
They could have gotten it done so much earlier. But like part of my frustration too is, of course, this is what they always do. They got taken to the woodshed by Dak and Dak's agent. They were getting taken to the woodshed by Micah and Micah's agent. There's also, Matt, a little bit of like Dak's agent is white, Micah's agent is not. And you wonder if there is some stuff like Jerry would say, I don't even know his name. I don't even know David Mulligetta's name. And like, I don't know, man. I hate this stupid franchise. They did the same shit with CeeDee Lamb. It took them way too long to sign him. You know, they do this stuff terribly. Yeah, they do this stuff terribly. It's a mom and pop organization.
And then they ended up signing a bunch of corners that are old and injured and
oh my gosh, yeah, and DeRon Bland might be back today. Cool, awesome. Like this is going to be great. Trayvon Diggs looks like shit, you know. And they had a guy.
Does look like shit.
They had a player at who like the play on the field revolved around him. Like he made other players look like all pros. He made Diggs. He made Bland. He made these guys all pros. They were not as good with him. Just like Tom Brady back in the day would make receivers way better than they should have been. That was Micah on defense. And now he's doing the same thing. Rashawn Gary's awesome. You know?
Yeah.
Like, way better than he's ever been.
Quay Walker looks incredible too now. Yeah. Everyone's like, oh my God, Quay Walker looks so good. Well, it's like, well, they're not looking at him anymore.
Have you seen that that stat that Rashawn Gary's the most sacks he's ever had in a year is 9.5, and he already has 4.5 through 3 games or whatever it is. It's like, good Lord.
I've always been able to separate players from the teams that I hate. I've always, for whatever reason, liked Rashawn Gary. Yeah. I don't really care that he's
Michigan man
on the Packers. See, it's not so much about that. It's just like I like. I don't know. I don't know about you. Like Connor Happer is always like I like quarterbacks who could spin it. I don't know. I kind of like athletic rushers. He's just an athletic rusher. I'm just always just look at that guy. I'm like, that's the type of guy I want to draft. Which, by the way, the Bears never draft that type of guy because they're a bunch of idiots.
Yeah. All right. So that's Cowboys.
Wide receivers and tight ends.
That's Cowboys Packers. I still can't believe it's only Packers minus 6.5. Good. I put that in my pick'em. That was like the easiest one of the week. Watch the Cowboys cover and lose, so I'll just be mad on both sides. All right, let's get to the 3 games that are actually like good and not involving our teams. Let's go to the noon window. We'll do that because we can finish them with Chiefs Ravens. So we start with Eagles Bucks. Last week, Matt, we talked about Eagles Rams, and I said like we were on different sides. I said, look, I'm gonna go with Philadelphia here out of respect for the defending champs and for the entire. I mean, you were on the right side, and yet as a Rams backer, you end up losing the bet if you were to make one, as the Eagles get the blocked kick, return for a touchdown, and somehow they cover in a game that they trailed at one point 26-9, and now they go to Tampa without Mike Evans, though it's going to be like 1 billion degrees down there for this game, which will be really, really interesting. In a, I don't want to call this a rivalry, but the Bucks and Eagles have played in just some strange games over the years. Really strange games. The Bucks, they dominated Philadelphia last year, if I remember right, in the regular season. Maybe that was a close one. They certainly did in the playoffs.
And then, so 2 years before, they were the one that had Jason Kelsey's last game.
Yeah, exactly. So. What's your view of this game? As we're about 2 hours from kickoff down in Tampa.
I would love to get Riss's opinion on how mad is she that it took the Eagles to be down 20 yards to 20 points to finally push the ball down the field.
She was really pissed.
We have been. For 10 quarters, A.J. Brown was non-existent. And then they get down 20, and then they finally unleash Jalen Hurts in the long passing game. And you're like, oh, my God, you could do this the entire time. This was an option that you had, and you just, chose not to? Who in their right mind chooses not to push the ball down the field if they're able to do it? It doesn't make any sense to me. I hope they continue to do it. I think the Rams. Now, first off, I did bet the Rams to win at
brutal
plus 2.5.
God, you were spending that money mentally throughout much of that game, I imagine.
No. I cashed.
You were worried the whole time.
I cashed out.
Oh, that's right. You did cash out. That was an all-timer. I forgot about that.
So I had a $15 bet.
Shout out to you.
I had a $15 bet to pay 28, and at the end of the first half, It was
what
at
did you cash it out at?
$27.
Oh, God, that's basically what you would have won.
And I literally, I ran to my car. I drove to Iowa.
So you could cash out.
Yeah. And I cashed out. So I got out of there. And so then they lost. Done. And my buddy was like, man, what a bad beat. I go, for them, for those idiots, for those dumbasses, not for me. I already placed that on the over of, I placed on the over a game and I ended up losing the bet. So it didn't really matter anyway.
That's good stuff.
But anyway, so yeah, I think that, look, the Rams are dumbasses. You can't kick 6 field goals against the Eagles and think you're going to win. I don't know what the strategy was there. So I think the Eagles are really good. I kind of compare them, like, I don't think they're having a Super Bowl hangover, but I think that they really know that they don't need to play their best football until like week 13. So,
and they're still winning games. They're not playing as good a football as they will eventually play, but they're still 3-0. So it's like it doesn't really matter.
Now you gotta be careful with the whole sleepwalking thing. Like, you can't sleepwalk 10 weeks into the year and then think like you're just gonna turn it on. Like, you still have to play some competitive football. And I do worry about, like, you can see the regression of Saquon. Like, he's not.
We wondered about the number of carries last year.
He's not bad. He's
just not what he was.
No, he doesn't have the same burst. He doesn't have the same elusiveness. But he's still very much as a top 5 running back in the NFL. So I do think it was encouraging, the fact that when they had to push the ball down the field, they could. But this will be interesting. Jalen Hurts is 1-4 in his career against the Buccaneers. It's by far his worst opponent he's ever played. The Eagles are one of the best teams on third down, 6.8 yards per play on third down. Buccaneers, awesome on third down, 2.5 yards per play on that down. They're number 1 in the NFL. Here's an interesting stat, too. Jalen Hurts, his QBR, non-pressured, 5th in the league. When he's pressured, his QBR is 25th in the league. Tampa Bay has one of the best pressure rates at 50% in the National Football League. So if Bowles can get past that pretty good, really good Eagles offensive line, I think they'll be able to go 4-0. I just think, though, overall, though, no Mike Evans for the Buccaneers. Eagles are a talented team. What's the spread on the game?
The spread is 3.5 in favor of Philly. Eagles minus 3.5. You mentioned no Mike Evans. It's been interesting to watch Arizona and how Marvin Harrison Jr., like, he had that touchdown the other night, and it seemed like he could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Meanwhile, Emeka Egbuka comes into the pros and is immediately like that dude, which is not surprising because Egbuka is and always has been so good. Like, I feel like he kind of got caught in the middle of 2 eras where Marvin Harrison Jr. was viewed as like this generational prospect, and then they get Jeremiah Smith, and it was like, never mind, he is actually the generational prospect. And so I feel like a lot of people forgot about how good Emeka Egbuka is, and he comes in, and I think today, like, he's already been awesome, and I don't have any doubts about his ability to contribute in the NFL at a high level. I think today, Matt, could be like maybe even more of a coming out party because of no Mike Evans. And so it's going to be interesting to see how the Eagles defend him. He's just been, he's been so spectacular to watch so far.
And here's another thing, too. If you ask somebody who is the leading wide receiver all time in Ohio State Buckeye history, do you think they're going to say Emeka Egbuka first?
No.
But he is.
Probably say JSN. Yeah. Probably say Marvin Harrison Jr.
And you are right. Like, he never was the guy. Like, Olave was there when he was a freshman. Like, it was, and then it was JSN was the dude. Then it was Marvin Harrison Jr. was the dude.
And
like,
then it was Jeremiah Smith.
Even, I think last year, Carnell Tate probably got more run in terms of people really, like, talking about him than Emeka Egbuka did. But, like, all he did ever was just go out. Was he the one who went off against Ohio or against Nebraska in 2021, or is that JSN?
That was JSN.
100, that's one of the best college football performances I've ever seen.
Plus, JSN also had that great Rose Bowl against Utah where he caught like 300 yards or whatever it was. So like he just he got in a position group that is consistently the best in college football. He just got caught in an interesting spot. Baymon asked, how would you compare him to George Pickens?
What, Emeka Egbuka to George Pickens?
Way better.
Yeah, I would much rather have Emeka Egbuka any day of the week, plus Sunday. Ohio State's got another recruit that's like a 5-star wide receiver that's coming. And I think he's in the class of 2026. And he's
so unreal, man.
Like, no, there was a report that they think he's better than Jeremiah. So
Good Lord. Jeremiah Smith, that will stun me because he is the most impressive. Like, that touchdown he had, I don't know if you saw it. He caught a touchdown at the end of the first half where he I think he caught it about the 18-yard line, and I could tell immediately, like, he's going to score a touchdown just because he's just too good, and he just kind of slipped through everybody. That was an impressive win.
Brian Hartline, I like him. I'm Ohio State. I am paying all the money in the world.
Oh, my gosh.
On my staff. Like,
yeah.
I do not.
Yeah.
I do. And by the way,
so good.
If I was him too, I was like, all right, I'll get paid $2 million to be the offensive coordinator and just get all the toys in the world.
Yep.
Because I do think there probably be a college football team out there who thinks, hey, we're going to hire Brian Hartline, and immediately we're going to get all of the good wide receiving prospects on our team, which would be kind of funny. But yeah Ibuka's great. I think that, like, Vegas wants you to take Buccaneers plus 3.5.
I'm taking Philly.
I'm taking Philly. I think Philly wins it by like 7. I think they just kind of have a snap out of it. Like, they know they have to play well today, so they're going to go out there and they're going to play well. I would take Philly minus 3.5.
And I'll say this too before we move on to the next game. Like, they got the win over the Rams. If they win today against the Bucs, like, you're talking about 2 wins over contenders for seeding in the NFC that they'd have in the back pocket.
And they beat the Chiefs.
Yeah. Speaking of the Chiefs, we'll get to them in a few.
Cowboys.
And they beat the Cowboys. Yeah, who cares about that? We'll talk about the Chiefs in a moment. Before that, we got to talk about a game that almost matched 2 undefeated teams. The Indianapolis Colts are 3-0. The Los Angeles Rams are 3-1. This is one of the late afternoon games. Other late afternoon games, by the way, we already talked Bears Raiders. We'll talk Chiefs Ravens Jaguars, and the 49ers are the other late afternoon game at 3:05 on your NFL Sunday ticket. The Colts easily, Matt. I mean, this is a classic NFL thing where, like, you go into a year and you're like, yeah, they're going to suck. And maybe a few people are like, yeah, they could be okay. And they are undefeated. And they're playing really good. And they have become, in a way, the story of the NFL season so far. I talked the other day to Dave Hellman of the Athletic Football Show for this week's I-80 football show. You could still listen to that after Matt and I finish today because there's some Week 4 stuff in there. Really fun conversation. And they are the story with what they have done. The decision to start Daniel Jones over Anthony Richardson. It's funny. I thought that it said more about Richardson than anything. And a lot of people are like, oh, this is stupid. This is stupid. It's like, have you watched Anthony Richardson? Like, he sucks. Like, I was totally okay with them moving on from him in terms of wanting to win games and start him to win games. That said, I definitely did not see this coming. Meanwhile, the Rams, we talked about them a few minutes ago because of the Eagles game. They are 2-1, very much could be a 3-0 football team, and how they get off the mat in this matchup, I think, is going to be very, very interesting. The Rams, for the record, are 3.5-point favorites in this one. How are you viewing Rams and Colts?
Are we in agreement that Anthony Richardson was, like, pre-exposed Joe Milton?
Oh, I like that.
You know?
Yeah. I never bought into the Anthony Richardson experience, though I will say this. If you go back and watch in Week 1 last year, he has a touchdown pass that is perhaps the greatest throw in the history of football.
I know what you're talking about.
But then he also has, like, the worst throws in the history of football. He's just not consistent enough. But, man, when he is on, he does throw a nice ball sometimes. My
favorite memes on Twitter is when they take like Moneyball quotes and then they, like, fix them to new, like, sports.
The aggregate thing?
Yeah. Well, no, the one is, like, the classic line is, like, you know, Jonah Hill is being like, you know, this guy does this, and that, but his defect is this, you know. He should cost this, but he actually costs this. Where it's like Jonah Hill, the meme was like, Billy, this is Anthony Richardson. We have never seen a quarterback prospect with as much height, strength, speed in the entirety of the NFL. His defect is that he doesn't have a grasp on how to play the quarterback. that's he just does not. And the crazy thing too was, first off, there is an archive out there in some KRNU folder at the College of Journalism in Nebraska.
Shout out to KRNU 90.3.
That has me saying that the Colts taking Anthony Richardson was a terrible pick. And that he should have went to a team that could sit him for a year and let him develop. And yet they had to trot him out there in Week 1. And he played 4 games in his rookie year, and he got hurt in every single one of those games.
Oh, my gosh.
And then people forgot he tapped out of a game last year as the quarterback of the football team.
He did. That was
that
terrible.
Is wild to me. So I think that Mina Kimes said it the best in the preseason that Daniel Jones was the perfect guy to bring in for the quarterback competition because you should be able to beat Daniel Jones, but you can lose to Daniel Jones in a quarterback battle, and that'll tell Indianapolis everything they need to know about AR-15, and it did. But then DJ has just been perfect. Jonathan Taylor is the best running back in the league right now, statistically.
Yeah.
The offensive line is second in pass block grade. They're eighth in run block grade. Quentin Nelson, who very quietly kind of was fading out of like an elite, like we weren't talking about him as much as we were in his first 2 years in the league, is back to being this dominant guard that just absolutely blows up defensive lines. It's a team that has a really good roster. They're one of the best and I like the Colts in this matchup actually because they are one of the best pass defenses in the league right now. Their EPA against the run isn't very good, so Kyron Williams could potentially have a really big day, but they're only allowing 180 passing yards a game in their first 3 contests. And we know that this Rams team, I don't know, do you get the vibe that they might be lacking a little bit on the weapon department on offense?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I like the running back, and I like Puka Nacua. Devontae Adams is certainly late-stage Devontae, not out on Puka.
I like them.
You just don't love them.
Weapons. I don't love their weapons.
And
they don't have
don't you feel like they're better than they are because they get to play in a Sean McVay offense with Matthew Stafford?
Yes.
That's why they are. That's why they are what they are.
But is there anything? There's nothing on this roster outside of the D line that I'm like, holy shit! Like, what are you going to do? Like,
they are. They like we talked about the Eagles. You like the Eagles because they're loaded with talent. You like the Rams because they scheme the hell out of things and they're really creative. So it's like it's really interesting how in the NFL you can just have things on the opposite end of the spectrum, even though they're all professionals. I like them, but man, as the comeback happened last week, it did make sense. As it's unfolding, it's like, yeah, well, this makes sense with the limitations that this team has. Interesting that you like the Colts today, though.
I just like the Colts. There has been nothing that the Colts have done that makes me think they aren't legit. I think they're very real. They kicked the shit out of a bad Miami team. They showed incredible amount of poise. Look, they should have lost to Denver. Don't get me wrong. That is a game that they should have lost. But the fact that they won it and then they were able to march down the field at the very end and win that game with Daniel Jones. You need to be able to do that. You need to be able to win games that you're really not supposed to win. And, and then last week, the Titans suck. But it's kind of my...
They kicked the shit out of them.
But that's my thing. My Indiana thesis, I know this always comes back to college football, but my Indiana thesis has been, I don't give a damn that they haven't played anybody because they beat everybody by 40 points.
Correct.
They do exactly.
At a certain point, though, the dominating wins do have to impress you, even if they come against bad teams. Because if it was that easy, why doesn't everybody dominate the bad teams?
They have a 60-point differential, a plus 60-point differential through 3 weeks of an NFL season.
Yeah. I've been waiting for them to fall on their face. Today is kind of my last stand, I guess, for that. And if they go out and win, then Uncle, I will give up on, because I don't think Daniel Jones is very good. But perhaps I was just wrong, and maybe he just needed a better situation.
What do you think his ADOT is?
It's down the field. I don't know what is his ADOT.
It's 8.1.
Yikes! Yeah. So that's the thing, right? It's not just a bunch of screen passes. He's actually pushing the ball down the field.
Dude, he's pinging it, man. He's pinging it.
By the way, before we move on, you were saying what you were about Anthony Richardson. The joke from Moneyball. It reminded me of a tweet I saw last night from Ian Hartitz. Drew Aller could be a great NFL quarterback if he becomes way better at football. I was laughing very hard as Penn State Lions lost.
It's crazy. Who did they pick over? Didn't they pick Drew Aller over Will Levis? Or no, they picked Drew Aller over Bo Pribula.
Oopsies.
Oops.
Yeah.
Ahmad Hardy, by the way, what a running back. Missouri's going to be
sneaky.
Yeah.
Sneaky. Manageable schedule. So that is
opposite of last year. Last year they got put through the ringer in terms of who they had to play.
So that is Rams.
God, I love football. I love football so much.
It's the best. It's the absolute best. Let's get Matt to the final game on our docket. Ravens Chiefs. The loser will be 1-3. The winner will be 2-2. Ravens a short road favorite. Do you think the loser of this game is going to miss the playoffs?
No.
Do you think that this is a do or die game? You do not think that.
No
now,
shot.
Do you think that because you think the Chiefs are going to win? Or do you think that because you think the Ravens are going to win, a.k.a. you're picking the loser, you like the loser, but if you're surprised on your prognostication, would that change your answer at all? I don't know if that made sense.
I had a lot of prep done for this game. I don't think I'm going to use any of it because I was writing all this crap down, and I just kind of realized that we've seen this before. The Ravens are going to look like the better team. The Ravens are going to control the game. The Ravens are just going to kind of have this in hand for about the first maybe 3 quarters. And then the Chiefs, for whatever reason, are just going to be able to keep it close, and then they're just going to come in and not steal one, but they're just going to play way better in the 4th quarter, and they'll end up winning.
This is how you feel about this game. Interesting.
This is a classic.
I don't see it.
Chief, because here's all the prep.
I like Baltimore.
The Ravens are terrible on running the rush defense. Terrible.
Yeah, but can the Chiefs take advantage of that?
One second. So then they lost. Like, they got hurt on the D line, and they've had to like pick up a bunch of dudes off the street to play D line today. Okay, now the Chiefs have 4.6 yards per carry. It's 14th in the league. But if you were to remove the Patrick Mahomes rushing yards, their yards per carry is 3.7. That's 25th in the league.
Yikes!
If the Chiefs lose this game, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think they'll make the playoffs, and because I'm not going to have the balls to say the Chiefs aren't going to make the playoffs, and their schedule does get more manageable as they go on. But like, if they're not able to run the ball today, I don't know when they'll be able to run the ball. Period. So
correct.
I think that they'll win this game.
Oh, you're muted. Matt, you're muted. Muted on StreamYard. Nope, still muted. Uh-oh, that's not good. No, I don't know what happened. I'll as Matt figures out his mic situation, I will say I do not think that the Chiefs will make the playoffs if they lose this game. I think that I am out on Kansas City if they lose this game today, and I think the Ravens are going to win this game today. Yeah, get your mic fixed. I really like Baltimore in this matchup. I think now you're muted on StreamYard again. Unmuted there. Let's see. No, there we are.
Good.
Nope. Okay, we're back.
You can hear me.
No, I can hear you. Matt, I disagree with you. I think the Ravens are like unequivocally the better team, and like I understand it. I think people are so afraid with like the really great dynasties over the years and the really great quarterbacks over the years to say, no, this is when it ends, because normally when that happens, you end up looking like an idiot. Famously, the Chiefs blew out the Patriots the year that the Patriots won the Super Bowl. But dude, I just don't see it. I just do not see it with this year's Chiefs team.
This is veteran broadcaster and young broadcaster these days. That's what I think this is, because I think you are willing to trust your eyes and you're willing to trust the optics. Sorry, you're willing to trust your eyes and you're willing to trust what you know. And I'm kind of trusting my optics, and I'm trusting the fact that I'm just not going to pick against the Kansas City Chiefs as being an underdog at home, because historically that does not go well for anybody. And I'm not willing to pick against Patrick Mahomes. I'm not willing to pick against Andy Reid. I'm not willing to pick against the fact that it's just so many players have won championships on the team, and it just doesn't make any sense to me that even though I see the collapse happening in a way that they can't get it together. So I don't know. Your analysis is very much pointed toward what now is what they are, and mine is pointed toward what I know they can be, and I know what they have been. I don't know. I think they'll be able to run the ball, though. I do think you have that. Like I don't think the Chiefs are as outmanned and outgunned as you make it out to be.
Really?
No. I don't think they're the Baltimore secondary is terrible. It's not good. And the Chiefs do get Worthy back today, so that is a positive.
But they still don't have Rashee Rice.
They don't. No, but Worthy was incredible to end the season last year with Rice out, and in that playoff run, he was absolutely dynamite for him. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of out on Kelsey. Like, you and I will both be in agreement that Kelsey, if anybody's done, Kelsey's done.
Yeah,
but
he's cooked.
To your credit, though, this Chiefs defense is not the Chiefs defense of old. It is very average. Their expected points added per play is 18th in the league. It's 0. So they're a zero-sum game. They are not getting as many turnovers as they used to as well. Look, man, this is what happens when you lose, these really good guys on the secondary, right? Like they've kind of
and Chris Jones is a little bit worse.
He's not getting pressure, man. That was the one. I wasn't too worried about the Chiefs after the Chargers game, other than they couldn't get any pressure against the Chargers. And the Chargers had Rashawn Slater and Mekhi Becton out. They had 2 of their starters on the offensive line out, and they still couldn't get a pass rush. So I don't know. I think everything in my head is telling me that the Ravens should win this game, but everything in my gut is just like, I'm just going to keep holding on to the rope that Patrick Mahomes is one of the 3 best quarterbacks in the league, and that if you give him a chance, he's going to win football games.
Yeah,
we are in a weird renaissance with Patrick Mahomes, though. We agree, right?
What do you mean?
Like, he's won the Super Bowls, but his statistics for the last 3 years, have been nowhere near close any of the other guys we compare him to.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was just all, wow, they keep finding a way to do this. And now, for the first time, they are not finding a way to do this. And, you talk about your preseason priors. The preseason priors I have about the Ravens is that they are the best team in the NFL. Now, right now, they're certainly not playing like it. They got bullied by Detroit. Their run defense is garbage. And the comeback against Buffalo is still, wild to me weeks later. But I still really, really like Baltimore, And so I am relying on those preseason opinions as a large part of the reasoning to pick them today against Kansas City.
You want a good nugget?
I'd love one.
Derrick Henry in his first 139 games had 2 fumbles in the fourth quarter. In the first 3 weeks of this season, he's had 2 fumbles in the fourth quarter.
That is wild. That is the thing that is, really surprising because he doesn't look like he's lost a step. And yet those fumbles are just so. I mean, because he has long touchdowns and in these games, and he has gotten off to a good start. Except that he has fumbled the ball and is very much allowed the Bills to come back in the game, and that allowed for Detroit to really kind of put their foot down in the game on Monday night.
I think Gary was telling me that he was doing some research, and apparently Henry, when he fumbles the ball, historically fumbles it in bunches.
Interesting.
That for whatever reason, it's just like. A lot of his fumbles have all come within the same, kind of group of weeks, and then he gets over it and ends up being Derrick Henry again. I think it happened once. I remember it happening once in Tennessee, that it was like he coughed up the ball a couple of times. But I don't know. He's old though, because how they used him against Cleveland, how they did not use him against Cleveland. They were like, we know that we can win this game just on our talent alone. We're not going to use you because we got to save some of your carries. But it'll be I don't know, man. I don't like watching Chiefs football. It's boring. They play boring football games. The only time nowadays that I feel like there's a lot of points in a Chiefs game is when they're getting blown out.
And maybe that happens today. A couple things, Matt, before we go. First of all, Baymon says, Matt being such a hot mess is making the LFN show one of my favorite podcasts. And that's what your muff looks like upside down, the LFN show. Good stuff.
Such a mess is ridiculous, okay? I'm not Supergirl, all right? I'm just a
you were 5 minutes late. Your microphone has checked out multiple times again. Today. I'm just saying, what do you want? You were 5 minutes late. Your microphone has shit the bed 3 times today. So I would say that is reaching such a mess territory. Oh my gosh. Speaking of such a mess, Carson Wentz just had the worst 3 snap moment of this entire matchup so far today. Good Lord.
Thank God I do not listen to Nick Wright and his gambling advice, because he was all over the Vikings. And now, they have the ball in this. Did he just throw a pick?
He just threw an interception. He fumbled earlier on the drive, and then he just threw an interception.
Man, I love the CBS Sports app. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. But
shout out.
It is a great app because I just saw that the ball. They do this cool animation that the ball flipped from the Vikings to the Steelers.
Oh.
I was like, ooh, there was an interception.
Matt, before we go, you did tell me you had one thing that you wanted to mention with Detroit and Cleveland. What is the thing you want to mention with Detroit and Cleveland?
Plus 10. I love
it's a large point spread, man. It's a large point spread.
How the fuck can you beat Green Bay and then be a 10-point underdog in your
Football's weird, man. Football's weird. They're on the road. The Lions good inside of the dome, and the Lions are starting to figure some things out.
The Lions are good inside of the dome.
They are, man. They get it home, and they are a much better football team, even though they went into Baltimore and they moved up and down the field. Those drives that they had on Monday night, the two 90-plus yarders, those were, especially the first one, were so impressive because they did it in different ways. The first drive, it was 18 plays, so it's just down the field methodically. The other one was I think 7 or 8, and so they were picking up huge chunks. I came into the year thinking the Lions are going to be fine because they have enough talent. I didn't think they'd go 15-2 again, but I thought they were going to be good. And man, I feel good about that opinion, 3 weeks in, even though they did not look like world beaters at all against the Packers in week 1.
I think the difference between the Lions this year and the Lions last year is that the Lions would run the ball first last year.
And now they're throwing.
They'd be like, all right, they can't defend it, we'll just keep running it. And then if you could defend the run, then they were like, all right, we're gonna try and throw it. And then if you could defend them, then they were gonna trick play you to death. And then eventually they'd fall on their face and lose to Washington, which is kind of what happened.
And they're healthy on defense, as Baymon points out this year, which helps a lot.
So this year, though, I've noticed that they're kind of throwing first more, and then it's okay, we can't throw it, we're going to run it, which is kind of what happened against Baltimore because they didn't look that great. They weren't nearly as good in the first half as they were in the second half, but they were great in the second half because they were like,
second half was so impressive.
This Ravens D line was like butter, and they just kept handing it to David Montgomery, who
the blocking up front was incredible.
David Montgomery might be like the greatest guy to have as their second running back because you give him 12 carries and he's got like 6 yards per carry and he's just absolutely a tank when it comes in. They're so good in the red zone because they can just give it to Monty. And I can't believe I hate that the Bears don't have him anymore.
Sorry, Matt. All right. That's before the witching hour.
He was so good.
We appreciate everyone joining us. The goal for the pod moving forward, we got $1 in supers today. We got 5 yesterday, so we're getting closer to being able to buy Matt a muff for his microphone. So we'll see if we can get there.
I get paid on Tuesday. I'll go to Best
Buy.
The
thing we need to get you is look, I had a Yeti for multiple years. The defect of if you touch it and how it just shorts it out is like the most annoying thing of all time because it used to do the same thing to my microphone. So we got to get that figured out. But otherwise, Matt, I love talking NFL with you. I love talking football with you, Matt. We did that 2 days in a row. It's a good time.
I know that once we get into the podcast, we have a good time, but the lead up into the podcast.
For who? For you or me?
I know that. Well, no, for me, it's I'm a gnat for you is what I'm saying. I'm the one failing because I lost my dongle.
Yeah, you lost. Yeah, Matt texted me. I don't have my cord. I'm like, oh, awesome. This is we're off to a great start. Baymon writes, an upside down koozie as a mic mug is the most college student thing ever.
I know. I have to. You gotta stop, man. I gotta become an adult. That's my life goal.
We
did a poll. Is Matt a grown up on the Gary and Matt show? And 95% of people said no.
Yeah, I mean, I would say this has been your toughest week yet. Being an hour late for your own radio show. And, like, the look, I went and I scrubbed through. I watched the beginning of the show, and Gary's like, yeah, we don't know where he is. And then I got to the point where you showed up, and the frustration that I could see on your face was, I mean, you could power the world. If that could have been turned into energy, you could power the world because I could see you were probably sweaty. You were probably sweaty everywhere, and you were just probably so mad. But it's okay.
I still am mad. I'm still very mad about it. No, yeah. I know it's okay. And everyone's been very, in all retrospect, everybody's been very incredibly supportive of like, dude, it happens. It's whatever.
It happens. Like, this is going to be a story that in 5 years you look back on and you laugh really hard, let alone in 20 or 30. But right now I understand being still annoyed by it. I would be too. And I would want people to bring it up.
Well, no, it has nothing to do with like people. I don't give a shit about people making jokes about it. It's just one of those things where it's just like I'm kind of sick and tired of the Matt's not a grown-up, but I'm doing it to myself, which is
You're
why
doing
I'm
it to
so
yourself.
mad. And I don't fully intentionally mean to do it.
Yeah.
But it just like losing the keys in Kansas City.
Tough.
They fell out of my pocket. It's not like I was like, I threw them into a fucking lake,
Yeah.
I just
Yeah. Indeed. Next week.
I'm telling you right now, if I unplug this thing that's making so much noise in this office, the entire apartment would stop having water or something, which is so
It's fine.
crazy
It's not
to
even
put
making
that.
that much noise. It's not making that much noise.
I put it
fine.
outside. I literally rolled.
Oh, okay.
It outside.
Jab says, I love ending the show with Josh being Matt's therapist. Let's do this. So next week, audience, don't listen to this. This is just for Matt and I real fast, just to try to trick him. So next week's pod is going to start at 9:25, Matt. 9:25, which means then it'll actually start at 9:30. So we'll see you then. Matt hosts the Gary Matt Show with Gary Sharp each and every weekday, 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone. You can check that out. He'll be doing Big Red Overreaction next Saturday with Connor Happer following Nebraska, Michigan State. Huskers, 10.5-point favorite on the early line, which is
no way.
Yeah, how about that line, man?
I'm gonna bet the Spartans. You kidding me?
That's taking the points, putting them in his back pocket. So he'll have that coming up. And Matt and I do this show each and every Sunday. We're on at 9:30-ish is what time the show goes, and we preview 5 games, not the 5 biggest games because 2 of the 5 involve our teams, but the 5 games that interest us the most each and every Sunday. So stay tuned for that next week. Patreon.com/ID Club if you like all that Jack Mitchell and I have to offer, including a new bonus episode this week on Wednesday. Let's see. We have a Volleyball State for subscribers tonight. We have a Big Ten Breakdown tomorrow. On Tuesday, National Fun League with Mike Schaefer and me. And we just do pods all of the time. Matt, what a fun Sunday morning this was with you. Enjoy the ball today.
Carolina Panthers money line.
Carolina Panthers money line. All right. So that's what you can take to the bank as we leave. And if you're wrong, Matt, just allow people to tweet at you. So Carolina on the road.
Wrong anyway. So.
Yeah, Carolina on the road at New England. Patriots are a 5.5-point favorite, so that's going to be some nice juice for you on the money line. All right, for Matt, I'm Josh. Thanks for joining us on Before the Witching Hour. Enjoy the ball today. We will talk to you next Sunday. Bye.